In this corner, in top fighting form, coming to you every Monday through Friday at this time in thrilling, action-packed stories, America's #1 hero, world's champion of boxing and of fair play, from Ham Fisher's famous comic strip, Joe Palooka. Through his friends' efforts, Joe Palooka's name seems to be cleared before the Boxing Commission's investigation of the accusation that Joe was involved in a gambling fraud with racketeer Blackie Ballinger. Al, one of Blackie's henchmen, has disclosed that Blackie framed up the whole story that Joe Palooka was working with him, just to cast Joe in a bad light in the eyes of the public. Jerry Leamy's investigation also proved that Joe Palooka couldn't have been working with Blackie because few bets were placed on the Palooka-Wilson championship fight to go the 15-round limit. There is still the question, however, as to why the fight did go the limit, since Joe was such a top-heavy favorite to knock out his opponent, Al Wilson. In just a minute, we'll present Episode 24, Al Wilson's Story, wherein we learn the real story behind the fight. But first... And now, Al Wilson's story. It's the next day in the office of the Boxing Commission, and the chairman addresses the other members of the investigation board.
Gentlemen, as you can see, I've made this meeting more or less of a secret session.
I don't quite get the purpose of it, A.J.
I didn't want Nobby Walsh, Jerry Leamy, Ann Howe, and Joe Palooka's other friends here because it would make it very difficult for them. Now that we all know of the possibility of Joe's death, and though it seems he has been cleared of the gambling charges, there is still the question as to why the fight did go the 15-round limit when everyone expected Joe Palooka to knock Al Wilson out early in the bout. I don't want to drag Joe Palooka's name down anymore because we know what Joe Palooka has meant, not only to boxing but to good, clean sportsmanship. But as members of this boxing commission, it is our duty to find out all we can behind the implications of the Palooka-Wilson championship fight. Whether Joe was working with Blackie Ballinger or not, and it certainly seems that he was not. The question still stands that the fight did go 15 rounds, and according to the experts in Joe Palooka's fighting form, by his workouts, by everything we have to go on, it seems that Joe Palooka should have knocked out Al Wilson. However, I think that even here there may be a valid reason as to why this did not happen. And so I have asked Al Wilson to appear before the commission. I really shouldn't say that I asked him, for the truth of the matter is that he asked me if he could appear and tell his story. And so I think that it is only right that we listen to him, gentlemen. Now, if you will give your kind attention, we'll hear what Mr. Wilson has to say. Go ahead, Al.
I don't know how to tell a story very good. I'm not good at talking. But I feel this story should be told. I fought in the ring with Joe Palooka, and I know that Joe, well, he's the cleanest, finest fighter in the game. Still, I guess Joe did kind of carry me in the championship fight. At least, he didn't want to put me away. But don't get the wrong idea, gentlemen. Wait till you hear my story. It all started in the early days of the war in North Africa. That seems a long ways back now. Almost another age. But it wasn't so far back. If you remember at that time, things weren't going so good for us. The other side had the most men, the most artillery, the most planes, the most experience. I was an attaché to the CO's department in a desert outpost. It was early dusk on one of those hot days that makes a man think he's already dead. I remember the CO was talking to a sergeant. I was working on some papers in the CO's tent, and I couldn't help hearing their conversation.
It's going to be a tough job, Joe. But you told me that if something like this came up, you'd like to take a crack at it. So I'm giving you first choice. You don't have to go if you don't want to.
My word still goes, Captain, and of course, I was speaking for Corporal Leamy, too.
Well, here are the details, Joe. The Jerry seem to have all the artillery in this area, and I mean all of it. We haven't got the reinforcements to enable us to drive through and knock out that artillery. It isn't so much that their artillery is heavy, though. It's more that their shells are hitting us in some vital spots.
Then they must have a lookout somewhere.
Yeah, that's what we figured, Joe. We've got the location of their observation post narrowed down to a water tower high on a sand dune about a mile from here. That old water tower overlooks our positions here. From this vantage point, I dare say they can direct their fire almost to any one foxhole of ours. A lot of our men are getting it, Joe. They're wrecking our supply stations. Can't tell you how important it is that we get that water tower and put their observation post out of commission. Figure about the only way we could do it is if a couple of men volunteer.
Well, you can count on me, Captain. But, well, my friend Jerry is in pretty bad shape now. The heat and all. They have him more or less hospitalized.
That's too bad. You two work well together.
I know Jerry would jump out of his cot if I told him about it. But I don't think he's in any condition for anything like this.
No, better not risk it. This is a dangerous job. A fellow has to have a clear head.
Excuse me, Captain. I couldn't help it overhearing. This paperwork might be okay for some guys, but I think a big guy like me needs a little exercise. How about me going along on that job with Joe here?
Are you sure you want to, Wilson?
I wouldn't be asking if I didn't want to, sir.
Okay, Wilson. Good luck, boys.
Well, we've only got a short way to go now. There's the tower right up ahead.
I only hope they can't see us.
I don't think they can, Al. But we better keep down. Maybe crawl the rest of the way. We're certainly lucky that there's no full moon tonight.
Yeah, that would put us in a bad light, huh?
I wonder how many Jerrys they got up there. We'll soon find out. Down! Here's the tower.
Hey, I think we'd better go up one at a time. You know, they...
Shh.
Listen.
Supply trucks have moved up 3 kilometers. Enemy concentration heavy at this point. Battery B has closest range.
Yes. They're up there, and they're communicating with the heavy artillery, all right. I'll head up.
Wait a minute. I think there's some others coming in. Yeah, they're heading up the hill.
Okay, Al. You try to hold them off. I'll see if I can take care of the boys upstairs. Maybe a grenade.
Hurry up, Joel! Hurry up! They're coming!
I think it's all over, Al. Just like that.
You certainly did a job up there, Joe.
You didn't do so bad yourself.
Hey, you haven't even damaged our equipment very much.
That's right. But maybe if I can get this walkie-talkie set up, we can communicate back with our lines. They could certainly use this place.
And how? You can see the Jerry side of the field from up here, too.
Al, they're shooting at us.
A big gun, too.
Evidently, they know the telephone's out of commission. They must know that we've got a hold of this place.
Yeah, they probably figured that they can't have it, we can't neither. Boy, those shots are getting close. Come on, we better get out of here.
If I could only get this radio. Look out!
Joe! Where are you, Joe?
Al, get out, Al! They'll be coming.
Don't talk like a fool. I can't leave you here.
No, save yourself.
Not unless
Get
you
out.
come with me now.
But it's no use. I can't move.
If I could just
can't.
get this timber off you. If I could just get you free now. There.
You'll never make it with me, Al. There's no sense in both of us getting it.
The old fireman's carrying. I can manage.
They'll stop the two of us, Al. Don't be a fool. Save yourself. Don't be a fool, man.
Joe was hurt bad and pinned down by wood and debris. I managed to get him clear, and somehow or other, the two of us got back to our lines.
Then actually you saved Joe Palooka's life.
I did what any other guy would do. Joe never forgot it, though. And when he got back to the States, he looked me up right away. Spent a couple of days at our place, and he really thought the wife and kids were fine people. Joe Palooka's just a kind-hearted guy. Because this and the incident in North Africa and all, well, before he left, Joe said he hoped we would never have to fight for the championship. Because he thought I was a pretty good guy. And I guess he's just a softy. Still, Joe fought a clean, hard, good fight with me. But he just couldn't be the killer in the ring against me. I hope you gentlemen can see why.
I think we can, Al.
All I know is that Joe fought clean and hard and fair, just like he always has. And if he didn't try to knock my head off, well, he felt there was a pretty good reason for it. I think we've all been pretty unfair to a doggone fair guy. And it's just too bad that we know this now that it's too late.
And so Joe Palooka is cleared of all charges and accusations. But is Al Wilson right? Is it too late? In just a minute, we'll tell you about our next adventure of Joe Palooka. But first, in our next episode, Joe Palooka is officially cleared of all charges, and a visitor from Midville calls on Nobby and Dan. Don't miss the next exciting episode entitled Too Late, in the thrilling story of
The winner and still world champion, Joe